It's Hong Kong's big day on Sunday. The international races at Sha Tin. 4 Group 1s, the Vase, the Sprint, the Mile and the Cup, with 3 of last year's winners returning to defend their titles. Got it all covered here. An extended edition of Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Jean. Please, I'm joined in the studio by Paul Lally, our former analyst, and race caller Mark McNamara. Mark, doesn't get any better than this.
It does not, Andrew. The world is at Sha Tin on Sunday. It's billed as the international races, and even though there's no Southern Hemisphere horses here, Damien Lane up flying the flag for Australia. He's got some rides in the Group 1s as well, sticking around from Wednesday night. And of course, a chance of history with Golden 60 if he can win the mile. Yeah, the IJC at Happy Valley was amazing. Zach Purton winning again there, Paul. Outside of that, it's a pretty decent jackpot as well, isn't it?
There's 2 actually. Yeah, we've got a good triple trio jackpot that's over 11 million jackpotting, and also the 6-up win bonus is over 2 million. So 2 really good jackpots, and a couple of the international races, of course, will be included, won't they?
Absolutely. Triple trio races 4 and 5, which is the sprint, sorry, the Vase, and then the sprints after that. So plenty to get through throughout the course of the show, with the 4 Group 1s, an outstanding undercard as well. All of it available on the website hkjc.com. Of course, we're on the A course for the main event, the 10 races, all of them on the turf, 4, 5, 7 and 8 for the Group 1s. But start off with a really good Class 2 of the 1600 metres. Might be a derby trial of sorts, but we'll go the Vase, the Sprint, the Mile and the Cup. We'll go in race order for our show here today. Now, we start off with the Vase over the 2400 metres, of course, and the field lines up with pile driver for William Muir, Chris Grassick and Martin Dwyer. Won the Coronation Cup at Epsom early in the season, and then his last start at Lingfield. Glory Vase, who won this race 2 years ago. Columbus County, who finished 3rd in this race last year. Stay Foolish for Japan. Vincent Ho will be on board there. Mogul, who won the race last year, back to defend his crown. Reliable team. Bit of an upset winner in the Jockey Club Cup. Butterfield and a buyer for Alan de Roy Dupre, who may well be, well, it'll be certainly his final start here in Hong Kong, might be his final runner in a very illustrious training career. Good to slow, we're saying, Mark, in the early stages here, but reliable team, we assume he'll roll forward. Absolutely. He did last time, of course. Reliable team. That was in the Group 2 Jockey Club Cup, Paul, and he was able to steal that race in front. Unlikely he's going to get that sort of run again, even if it's a slow tempo. Can't imagine they're going to leave him alone as much this week.
No, I don't think they will. The French horse there, Byra, likes to go forward as well, and she can put on a bit of pressure. Pole Driver likes to be handy, and Stay Foolish is sort of a one-paced Japanese horse as well, who's been going well. So it's going to be a bit more pace, I think, than last time.
Yeah, and you've got Mogul setting back towards the tail of the field. So, right, before we get into the runners themselves and have a look at some key races and hear from some of the participants, there's the Roll of Honour, Mark, the last 5 years, just the 1 Hong Kong win.
It is, and it was Exultant in 2018. Here in second, of course, last year behind Mogul. And Paul, we've got the 2019 champion back in Glory Vase taking on last year's winner, Mogul.
Yes, exactly. And Ryan Moore again here on Mogul as well. So look, they're two. They're going to be really good chances once again. Mogul's been a little bit disappointing on his form this season, but look, he loves it here, and I think he can bounce back as well.
Yeah, definitely the ground will be in his favour. Yeah. Ryan Moore's spoken very favourably about the conditions as well. All right, first up, let's hear though from pile drivers jockey is Martin Dwyer.
The horse feels fantastic. He looks great. He looks happy and healthy in his environment, which to me is more important than anything. He's come here a fit horse. He's had his prep run, came out with flying colours. And like I say, it's just really managing the horse this week. And, you know, he comes here a fit horse. And like you've already mentioned, he missed the sort of back end of the summer season at home, which was really frustrating at the time. But sometimes these things are meant to be. And he comes into the winter campaign a fresh horse. And I think he's put weight on and looks better than ever. And so it's just great to be in Hong Kong and come for one of these races with a real life chance. Can't underestimate anything in these Group 1 races. That, you know, you've got world class horses, so it's not a cakewalk by any means. But we are very confident because we're going in with a very good horse, and he seems to be in a great place at this moment in time. And I think he's peaking, and that's the one advantage we've got. He's coming to where he's peaking physically, and he hasn't had a hard campaign. So fingers crossed. But we've got to be very confident, but you've got to respect all as well.
There he goes, Martin Dwyer. Speaking about pile driver, the obvious thing watching that Coronation Cup win there was the ground. It was much softer that day.
Absolutely. It's down as good to slow in the form line, but there was no way it was on the good side, the amount of muck they were throwing up. They worked him again this morning, Paul. He worked over 400 metres on Saturday morning in 33.6, so they've certainly kept him ticking over.
They have, and you could see with that race, he loves to scrap this horse, doesn't he? He was headed, I'm sure, in that Coronation Cup, and he fought back and won nicely. So if it is a really sort of a door finish, he's going to be right there.
Yeah, William Muir did say this week though as well, the ground's not a concern. He's won on a hard track as a 2-year-old. So that's Pile Driver. Here's last year's race. Poor Mogul, just way too good for his rivals here. But Columbus County was credible in third.
Yeah, look, he ran on nicely enough, and you could see once he got into the clear here, Mogul, he just stretched out and won really nicely. He's had a few runs since then. He's had 4 runs this season. He's been placed on one of those races, but just a little bit below par. But he's coming back here to Hong Kong, and he seems to have really enjoyed it. And all the 3 O'Brien horses have arrived in good order.
Yeah, they have indeed. And you said it, Andrew, the confidence from Ryan Moore in an interview during the week saw me bumping up a few selection places as well, because he was very, very confident about the horse going back to back.
Absolutely, yeah. The track, the conditions suit him perfectly. Glory Vars, Mark, and Stay Foolish. What do we think of these ones?
Got to both be considered. Every time the Japanese come here, you need to consider them each and every time. Glory Vars did win it in 2019. Joe Moreira gets back aboard on the horse. He rode him to victory in 2019. And Stay Foolish, Paul, draws barrier number 4. It's a good pickup right here for Vincent Ho. Comes out of this 4th in the Fukushima Kinnan behind Panther Lassa. Look, you can never discount the Japanese, can you?
No, I don't mind this horse. He doesn't win out of turn, but he's won a couple of races. They've both been on the sort of going he's going to get. He's arrived in good order, and I've liked his work. So, look, you know, he's going to be a bit of a price too, because he's probably the one just outside the square.
OK, all right. His reliable team in Columbus County, the Jockey Club Cup. Just a great ride this day, Paul, to nick it from the front.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to get this again, though. They're not going to leave him alone like he did here. And he, you know, as you say, he did nick it he stole it from the front. Columbus County ran on nicely enough, but I just think the international horses look strong this year.
Yeah, I agree, Paul. Reliable team. He won't mind the step up in trip. He has had one go at the 1.5 miles, and he did place in a group race over 2,400 metres. Columbus County just peaked on his run a touch there, but I think the internationals will hold them.
OK, the rest of that field running the race, except for Savvy 9, actually ran really well at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Butterfield's, Mark, I think he's got a chance of some prize money here. He's
going to run the trip, that is for sure. He draws barrier number 8, but with just the small field, he's unlikely to be unlucky in the run. Damien Lane sticking around to ride him for Denny Shum. He's yet to win anywhere above Group 3 in Hong Kong, Paul, and that was the Queen Mother Memorial. Look, he's not too far away, and he is going to get the trip, and he has proven at the trip in South America before arriving.
Yeah, no, the distance is going to suit him, as you mentioned, but I just don't know if he's up to with these internationals. That's what worries me.
OK, one more to have a look at. It is one of the internationals. Could well be the final runner, Paul, for Alan de Roy-Dupré. Yeah,
another one of these fairy tales. There could be a couple here on Sunday. And look, it was a nice enough run here. The horse got to the middle of the track and it stayed on. Well, it just faded over the last bit. Byra. They went forward this day. Sometimes she's gone back, sometimes she's gone forward. I think with this smallest field, she'll go forward once again, and she sort of just dropped out at the end, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Her work's been good since she's been here. A lot of it has been on the all-weather, or all of it's been on the all-weather throughout the week. Just wonder what the firm track's going to do to her.
Step up and trip will suit her though as well, up to the 2,400 metres, probably a bit more to her liking. So those of the 8 runners, Paul, we've got Glory Vars as our 1.8 favourite.
He come up pretty short, Glory Vars. So look, look, he has to go in. He's been here, done that before. I'm going to go the other Japanese though. We sometimes see the 2nd, 3rd tier Japanese horses that come here and perform really well, and I've just liked what I've seen with Stay Foolish, and Vincent Ho, local jockey aboard as well. So he's on top. Pole Driver not far away though, and wouldn't be surprised if he won. Glory Vars and Mogul have won this before. 4, 1, 2 and 5.
Same 4 as Paul, just a different order. 2019 winner to beat the 2020 winner. Glory Vars over Mogul. Just buoyed by the interview with Ryan Moore about Mogul. Thus he got pushed ahead of Pile Driver. He's in for 3rd, and the 4 Stay Foolish. Just the respect factor for the Japanese horses when they come here for sure. 2, 5, 1 and 4.
1 and 2 for me in the Vars. Pile Driver, I think, can win this for Martin Dwyer, but I do think Butterfield will run some sort of race as well. That's the Longines Hong Kong Vars. $20 million on table for that. After the break, we'll be looking at the Hong Kong Sprint, and that's up next. The The $24 million Longines Hong Kong Sprint is the richest turf race, Group 1 race, run over that distance in the world. We've got a good, strong lineup as well. International runners, Hong Kong and Japan. The field is led by Hot King Prawn, John Sayers, Ryan Moore. Pixie Knights for Japan, last start winner of the Sprinter Stakes. Down on Smash, last year's winner. Wellington, who won the Chairman's Sprint Trophy last season. Lucky Patch has been brilliant his last 2 starts. Skyfield, Blake Sheen gets the plumb inside gates there. Computer Patch, Naboo Attack, amazing star. Courier Wonder, and down to Resistencia. And Christophe Soumillon in town. He'll jump from barrier number 7. Won the Centaur Stakes 2 starts back, did Resistencia, beating Pixie Knight. So good to fast, we're saying here, Mark. It should be on from the get-go.
It should. That should allow some gaps in the field too. With Computer Patch, we know he likes to lead. Courier Wonder goes forward. Hot King Prawn from barrier number 2, Paul. You think he can drop in? Now, Pixie Knight might need some of those gaps, because if he does have to sit 3 wide without cover, as good as he is, he might not be able to win this race.
Yeah, that's the key, I think. So Resistencia and Pixie Knight are both can go for that same run, and Resistencia in the Sky Sprinter Stakes did get out quicker than Pixie Knight. That's why it's there. Now, Lucky Patch will probably try and drag back and get that midfield run like he did last time. And if he does, there is probably an option for Pixie Knight to get back just in behind Resistencia. So there is a possibility there. Amazing Stars drawn wide. I think he's going to find it tough.
He'll be big odds trying to replicate a Group 2 win from last season. Den on Smash from last year, he's going back from the draw. And Naboo Attack, Andrew, you know, he likes to go back in the field and try and rampage over the top of them.
Absolutely, I imagine he'll be swinging wide into the straights. Well, let's have a look at a couple of stats. So Den on Smash won it last year, but again, Mark, it's been a bit of a stronghold for the Hong Kong horse. You've got to go back to 2013 to find the last winner from overseas.
It has indeed. Den on Smash, Ryan Moore's riding Hot King Prawn this year, so he won't be partnering Den on Smash, looking to go back to back. He's got a better draw. And there's the fun fact, Paul, that's the only overseas country to have won each of the 4 international races.
Yeah, and well represented in this one as well.
Of course, that horse in 2013 was the mighty Lord Kanaloa as well. What of this year, though? Let's start off with David Hayes, the trainer of Naboo Attack.
David, Naboo Attack, you've just drawn barrier number 6 in the HKIR Sprint. A very successful barrier down through the years. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, it's a good barrier because you don't have to go too far back. And he's a swooper, and he'll probably settle midfield now. Last time he won, that was the position he settled in. So we're very happy.
And certainly gives you options, obviously, from gate number 6. And his run last time in the Jockey Club Sprint was a very pleasing one.
Yeah, that makes it always harder when you draw the outside. So I haven't really studied what the opposition have drawn at this stage, but I won't swap my barrier for any of them.
And just on his track work, David, obviously you're very happy with his preparation leading into the big day?
I thought his lead-up was first class, and the start before his lead-up, he had no luck, so just ignore that run. So since he's been in Hong Kong, he's never put a bad run forward, so I don't expect him to not run a very, very good race.
There you go. Not run a very, very good race. So what do you think, Mark?
Yes, definitely. Chance, Andrew, with the pace on, if you get to the outside, and he'll be finishing very hard at the end, Paul. He's come up 8.1, 2.2. Did you think he'd be around that price in early betting?
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer. I thought 8 or 9 with some of these other ones in. But look, it's he's going to get his opportunity if they go overcook it in front, there's no doubt, because we know he's got a good finish on him.
Yeah, it has been quite a rapid rise for him as well. Naboo Attack, winning at the Chief Executives Cup on the opening day, now in the Group 1. This is the Jockey Club Sprint, Paul, and Lucky Patch, I've certainly underestimated him. He's won his last 2 now.
Yeah, and look, this is where he came from, that midfield run, didn't he? He got to the middle of the track. I think Zach Purden will be trying to do something similar here. And look, I think he's the best of the locals. He's just going in really well at the moment. I mean, Courier Wonder, he's just ran around a little bit there under a bit of pressure, and he can see Naboo Attack coming down the outside there.
You can. Bit of an excuse. Skyfield copped a bump, and Hot King Prawn got a really strong bump from inside and out when the Courier Wonder wanted to run over the track. So he's better than the 8 next to his name.
Yeah, I think Wellington will improve for that as well, not knocked around there. So that's the Jockey Club Sprint. We're going to have a look at the Sprinters Stakes now, Mark. This is, of course, the main lead-up as far as the Japanese horses are concerned, with their 3 runners engaged.
Yeah, this was just a perfect trip for Pixie Knight. Andrew pops off the inside and he races away. When they had reverse sort of runs at the start prior, Paul, Resistencia was too good for him. Down on Smash is so much better than the horse we saw in this race, and even the horse we saw when he came back to Hong Kong in April, because he was a Group 1 winner this time last year.
He's just got that raw ability, Pixie Knight, isn't he? He's only a young horse, and he just really stretched out well, and I thought it was a really good, strong win from him. Resistencia did nothing wrong, though. She stayed on nicely.
And she'd beaten him the start before as well. This is last year's race, Paul, with Down on Smash winning, but I think this year's a stronger renewal.
I agree. I think it is as well. Dan and Smash even. He got to the outside here, clear run, perfect ride from Ryan Moore, and the horse won nicely. They went fast, and it was a good win from him. I don't know if he's going to get the same sort of race again.
I snuck him into the top 4 simply because he's won from barrier 14 in Group 1, but you're right. Jolly Benner runs a place here. Rattan in the purple and white runs on. That's Wishful Thinker out wide. He's getting down in the grade since then. Hot King Prawn did go on from that race, but he did bash up a couple of oldies in it.
He did. There's no easy Group 1, so fair play to him for actually winning the race. But yeah, I think this year is a little bit stronger. We can have a look at the Japanese horses in track work as well this week. Mark, they've impressed you?
They have. Certainly this horse, Pixie Knight, he worked on Tuesday on the all-weather, Wednesday on the turf. And he actually worked this morning too, did Pixie Knight, and he worked over the 1,200 metres, but he's just a real little dude of a horse.
He is, isn't he? And it was a really nice, well, he's going really well at the moment. And Resistencia, she's arrived in good order as well. Both Japanese are going to be big chances, I think. They both arrived well, and we know what happens when they travel well, the Japanese.
And finally, we'll have a look at last year's winner in Down on Smash, Mark.
Yeah, just a quiet piece of work on this morning. This was on the 8th, and he comes down to the line. Under Yuga, went 121.8 in that race, but look, he's going to have to lift from his last couple of starts to go back to back.
OK, all right. What about the local horses? Let's start off with Wellington's trainer, Richard Gibson.
Fantastic season with the horse last year. I think he beat all the best horses in Hong Kong. He beat the champion sprinter of Hong Kong very convincingly on this last start. You might have, I'm sure you followed, but, we had a delayed start to the season. I thought the horse ran a good race the other day.
Last race, right?
But, yeah, it was his first race in 7 months, which is a long layoff for any thoroughbred. And, we think we've got him in sharper condition for race 2.
There you go. Super strong trial as well, Mark, for him.
It was an excellent trial, and he's going to be a lot fitter too, because he had that minor setback leading to that last start, 7th pull behind Lucky Patch. He was only 3 lengths from the winner as well. We know as a Group 1 horse, and he's a chance in a very even field.
Yeah, he goes in for me. I think he's going, as you say, there's a lot of improvement from that first up run.
OK, that's Wellington. Here's Skyfield, Paul, at the trials, and they tried something different with it. Didn't really work.
No, it didn't, did it? So I think they'll go back with him. He seems to run his best races when he's towards the back and with a really good turn of foot. So, yeah, but, it was worth a try to see how the horse would react. And, look, I don't think it really worked.
No, they threw the blinkers on and it backfired big time, so they will not be being in use on Sunday. Blake was able to get him under control and let him coast to the line. This was about 10 days prior to the race tomorrow, so he's had a week and a half to get over from this. But yes, it was a no-brainer, Andrew. As soon as that didn't work with the blinkers, they were never going to be on come Sunday, which Casper told us in the interview after that race.
Yeah, he's still, he's travelled quite strongly to the line, hasn't he, despite doing all those things wrong in the early part of that trial. Final bit of vision we can have a look at is the John Size runners, Mark. Courier Wonder and Hot King Prawn.
Yeah, just a Courier Wonder. He resented the whip last time, which saw him wanting to run around all over the straight. He's a horse that had some very big raps coming into this season, and Lucky Patch has had his measure twice. You know what you're going to get with Hot King Prawn, though, Paul, especially from barrier 2 with Ryan Moore on.
Yeah, he's going to get the perfect run, Hot King Prawn. He's a 7-year-old now. That was just the only query. He's getting a bit old. And he's meeting some of these young up-and-coming horses, but he's going to be in the right spot.
He is certainly right behind the speed there. That is Hot King Prawn. As far as the market looks at this stage, Paul, it's Lucky Patch is our favourite.
Yep, the locals have gone on to Lucky Patch here, and Lucky Patch goes in for me. I think he's a good hope in the race. Going to go with the Japanese, though. I thought Pixie Knight, young horse, very impressive, and I think he can win this race. Resistencia, the danger, along with the 2 local horses, Lucky Patch and Wellington.
With Pixie Knight also, despite the fact he's drawn a little wider than what we may have hoped for those going with Pixie Knight, where he could just tuck in like he did in the Sprinters Stakes. Expect Naboo Attack to be running on very strongly at the end. Skyfield from barrier number 1 is going to do no work along the rail. And just because he did it last year from barrier 14, Denon Smash goes in, haven't really been with Lucky Patch right through. There is no doubting that Francis has him absolutely flying though. 2, 8, 6 and 3.
4 and 2 to find out the finish of the sprint. Wellington, I think with that run under his belt now, can get the better of Pixie Knight in dramatic finish, I am sure, for the Longines Hong Kong sprint. Up next for us, Golden 60, back to defend his crown in the mile. We're looking at the $26 million Longines Hong Kong mile is next. If you want to hear from Vincent Ho, though, and Francis Law, we had a stable visit with Golden 60. And that's all on the website for our HKIR specials. Have a look at that. Plenty of other interviews as well and stories to go along. It's myself and Leo Schlinks. That's on the website, the HKIR special. We'll keep moving, though, and now have a look at the lineup for the mile this year, of course, which is headed by last year's champion in Golden 60, and he hasn't been beaten since. The incredible winning run continues. Danon Kingley, though, Suda Kinunwin coming from Japan, Indy champ's been here before. Waikuku more than this, got close to Golden 60 last season. Salios, Damien Lane rides him from barrier 1, plum draw there. Vandergaard, Karis Teton's picked up the ride. Sky Darcy, last year's Derby winner. Excellent proposal, Lucky Express, both for John Size and Mother Earth. The Irish runner for Aidan O'Brien. Ryan Moore will be in saddle on the 3-year-old filly. Now, we'll start off again, of course, with the speed map. And big red box there, Mark, saying slow. Who sets the pace?
There is a distinct lack of pace here. Waikuku goes forward, Salios, Lucky Express outside them. Can you see that changing in any way, Paul, with the slow tempo likely to be set? Sky Darcy raced a little handier in the Derby over 2,000 metres, but he's been going back his first couple of runs this time in.
I think the key, John Size is the key, because Lucky Express has drawn the outside. Does he want to come across and lead and give Waikuku a trail? Excellent proposal, can get a nice run, whatever happens in between. Now, Salios generally races handy without leading. It's what they do with Golden 60 from barrier 2. I mean, are they tempted to ride him more handily and get him sort of right up, one out, one back, or just in behind the pace? The only time he was beaten, I must say, he did go forward and set outside the pace that day. He has been getting back. That's the query. There's a big conundrum there for them, I think.
Yeah. I don't think he can go back and go that pace they did last time and run over the top of them.
OK, last 5 winners, of course, Golden 60 looking to do a beauty generation here, Mark, and win it for a second time. And
become the most winningest local horse of all time too, if you can do it, Golden 60. And Good Baba holds the record. It does look, though, Paul, bad luck taken out of the equation. The top 2 are likely to be the 2 in the market. Certainly the 1 is, we know that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what sort of run he gets, I think.
All right, well, let's start off here with one of the key Japanese runners, and that is Danon Kingley, and he'll be ridden by Yuga Kawada.
He's had excellent form in Japan this year with the win and a second, and both of not just the results of the race, but the way the horse handled himself. He's been very impressed with that form and the horse in general. By all accounts, everything's going to plan, and he's very happy and looks forward to the horse being able to show his exceptional ability this weekend. Not too focused on his own position in the race, but wait and see how the race unfolds, and based on that, would just like Danon Kingley to get into his own rhythm. If the horse can get into his own rhythm, that's when he's able to show his best. He feels he's quite versatile if he can get a nice rhythm. So a specific position within the race isn't a big concern or focus at the moment.
There you go. It was a mighty win, Mark, as well in the Yasuda Kinnan, beating Grand Allegria on quick ground as well.
And you look at the horses he's been racing around, Andrew. A second behind Schnellmeister last time. That win over Grand Allegria. Down the track behind Armanai, 7th to Grand Allegria. Golden 60 is going to have to beat his best because this guy is a serious racehorse, Paul.
He is definitely. And it's interesting to hear what you said there with the horse, barrier number 9. So there's options there for him, what he's going to do. He just wants to get him into a strong rhythm. OK, well, let's have a look at how he's looked at track work this week as well, Paul. Asked to do a little bit on the turf earlier in the week. And he responded when he was asked. He really nicely, he just picked up really well. He's a nice horse, this Danon Kingley. Yep, Golden 60 is going to know he's been in a race.
A Wednesday winner on the all-weather over 432.8, 53.1 he worked on the turf, 30.9 and 22.2. That's the fastest split of all the internationals all week. OK, well, Golden 60
Let's take a check on him, and this is the Jockey Club mile mark. Slow tempo, went back, looped the field and rattled off a couple of really fast final sectionals.
He shouldn't have been able to win this. Only Golden 60 could have won this race. Southern Legend was coming to the back end of his career. Waikuku and Sky Darcy, they tried their best. Pressure Ship was retired after this race. More than this was having his first run back, so a heel strip fitter. If the locals were ever going to beat him, Paul, that was the race.
Yeah, I agree totally. I can't see that any of the locals overturning that, all things being equal.
All right, so again, it come down to tactics, I think, from the draw. Back in Japan, Paul, for the Mile Championship.
Look, Salios is going to sit handy. That's one thing that's going to be in his favour. Salios, he's got a good draw and he won't be too far away. It was a nice run here over the mile as well for Salios. Vindegard is a horse, look, he sits midfield and he sort of runs on, and he sort of runs the same sort of pace the whole way. But of the two, I really like Salios.
I'm going to take the other one that wears the same colours in Indy Champ into the top four. Beat Salios home here. It's just been in the right races again. It's just which Japanese horse you like, isn't it?
Again, that was Gran Allegria winning that race on a final start. So that's the form reference with Down on Kingley, I suppose. Next up, Mark, is Excellent Proposal. An unlucky Excellent Proposal and Lucky Express.
I'm giving him a chance. Excellent Proposal as the next best of the locals behind Golden 60. Just didn't happen for him this day. Blake's won on him before. He's over 1,600 metres and gets a real excuse out of this race, Paul, because there was traffic everywhere around him. He's going to probably get the right run from barrier number 7. If there is a blowout, he could be it. Yeah,
look, he's been unlucky all the way through here, isn't he? So, look, he's definitely one of the local chances.
Yeah, he needs to lift again, but last year's Classic Mile, as Mark said, for Blake, and I think there's a bit more to come with him. Last horse to talk about is Mother Earth, and we can hear from her jockey, Ryan Moore.
Yeah, she's wonderful filly. She's strong, and yeah, as you say, she's been very busy, been on the go all year, and late on as a 2-year-old as well. The race in Del Mar, she was drawn in the middle, didn't get away that quickly, and pace was steady, and it was impossible to make up ground in that very short straight there. She's been consistent all year. Look, the race on Sunday is very strong with Golden 60 and a large Japanese contingent. You know, it's a couple of very smart horses coming from Japan as well, and obviously the big horse from here. So it's going to be tough for her. She's got a nice stall. It might be quite a tactical race again. Can't see them going mad, but you know, she gets a nice weight pull, and she usually runs a good race, and I think Sha Tin will suit her well. I think she'll enjoy the quicker ground, and she'll enjoy the track.
Ryan Moore there on Mother Earth, Mark, and she, for a 3-year-old, all she's done is running Group 1s this season. Nine runs, all in Group 1s. She's won 2 of them.
And she can travel. We know that. I just got the vibe from Ryan. He was more confident when he was speaking about Mogul in another interview than he was about Mother Earth.
Yeah, like she's had a full-on season, hasn't she? But she's tough, and she's arrived here in really good condition. She gets back. I just wonder if this pace is the little query with her. But she's a multiple Group 1 winner.
Yeah, this is her 5th country she's raced in this season as well. But the market, Paul, $1.1 about Golden 60 at the moment. It's pretty short.
Pretty short. Look, I've got him on top. Look, his tactics are going to be massive in this race. We'll see where he ends up. But he seems to be winning from everywhere at the moment. So he's on top. Dan and Kingley, I think, is going to give him the most to do. Salios as well. Look, I think Salios is going to be in a nice position, and he's been running some consistent races behind some top-line horses. And I toss up between Waikuku and the other one, Excellent Proposal. I just thought Waikuku might be in front of him, so that's why I went with him. So I ended up with 1, 2, 6 and 4.
Same top 2 as Paul. Has to be the champ on top, Golden 60, but he's going to have to beat his very best to beat Denon Kingley, who comes with such excellent credentials. We saw it in that replay. Mentioned the form around him as well. Golden 60, shouldn't have won last time, so he's on top to beat the 2, and he is at home. 9, Excellent Proposal, no luck, and still good enough to run second in that last start in the Chevalier Cup. An Indy champ, another one of the Japanese. 1, 2, 9 and 3.
Yeah, Golden 60 and Down on Kingley, clearly the two on form. But I just think that Excellent Proposal's got a big run in him. And each way at that sort of price, I'd be looking at him. Excellent Proposal for John Size and Blake Shin. That's the mile end. One more to go. Up next is the Longines Hong Kong Cup. Final of the 4 Group 1s then, and the most valuable as well, $30 million for the Longines Hong Kong Cup over the 2,000 metres here. It is race number 8. The field is headed by Kying Star for Tony Cruz, Matthew Chadwick Ryder, and probably roll forward as well. Panfield, last year's champion Chater Cup winner for Tony Millard, gets the inside gate. Glorious Dragon, Ishiguazu for Japan, but Joe Moreira rides from barrier 12. Tourbillon Diamonds, the Sarsar Ladies Purse winner, draws wide at 11 for Alexia Vidal. Dubai Honour for William Haggis from the UK. Tom Marquand rides McSweeney for Jim Bolger, Bolshoi Ballet for Aidan O'Brien, and the 2 Japanese, Le Papale and Loves Only You, make up the field of 12. Again, we start off with the speed map here, Mark. Should be pretty solid in the early stages, particularly given the fact we've got Kying Star in the field.
Absolutely, although he did miss the kick last time, Kying Star, and he had to work around the field to take over. Panfield slots in behind him. You've got the wider horses there, Paul, Ishiguazu, Tourbillon Diamond and Russian Emperor all covering ground over the 2,000 metres.
Yeah, Le Papale can make it a bit hard for Ishiguazu. I know Joe Moreira is aboard, but 2,000 metre start can be a little bit tricky here. I think the likely favourite, Loves Only You, is going to get a perfect run just in behind, and Ryan Moore can get Bolshoi Ballet into a nice position midfield. We know Glorious Dragon and Dubai Honour, the European horse as well, UK horse, he likes to go back.
OK, all right, but Kying Star out in front, possibly. He's trained by Tony Cruz. Also has Berlin Tango in the field. We'll hear from him very shortly, Mark. These are the past winners of the Cup. Of course, it was Nomcor last season with Zach Purton.
And it was, and Tony won with Time Warp in 2017. Win Bright, Glorious Forever amongst them as well, Paul, and the girls have a good record in the race.
Yeah, and look, I think with we're going to obviously have Loves Only You as probably start favourite and falls into that category as well.
All right, more on her in a moment. Her final start as well. Let's start off, though, as I said, with Tony Cruz.
Tony, you've got 2 runners in this year's Cup, both Kying Star and Berlin Tango. We'll start with Kying Star, a horse that you've been stepping up in trip, and he's got barrier 6. Pleased with that?
Well, barrier 6 is perfect for us. But Kying Star is very much a one-pace horse. On his last start, we could have won the race, but we missed the jump. But this time, we should be right in a handy position, and I reckon he'll be right in the finish as well.
And just where he's at now, obviously the age he's at as well, is 2,000 metres perhaps his trip, do you think, going forward?
I think so too, because, you know, we're running him the mile. It seems like he's a one action, not good enough. So stepping up to 2,000 seems like more of his distance, really. And I believe he'd be very close in the race.
And you and Matthew Chadwick have got good history in this race, obviously some wonderful memories, and it'd be nice to, I'm sure, team up and win another one with Matthew.
Yes, Matthew knows this horse very well. Well, last time we missed a jump, but this time Matthew knows the horse very well, so we'll be right in front in a handy position.
And just on your other runner, Berlin Tango, he's still actually yet to win a race here in Hong Kong. He's drawn gate number 5. Where do you envisage he'll sit in the run?
He's always been very unlucky. Well, he took a bit of time to you know, adapt to the environment in Hong Kong. I believe the 2,000 metres, which he's crying out for, he'd never run a 2,000 metre race. I believe this is his distance. I believe he'd be very close in the finish.
Positive words there from Tony about Berlin Tango and Kying Star. Matthew has been on board for his last 3 runs, and he's finished second on 2 of them. Let's have a look at Kying Star and that run in the Jockey Club Cup last time out, in actual fact, Mark. So here he is, just on reliable team shoulders. They swing into the straight. The other horse is Tenoda, Glorious Dragon, out wide, finishing in 3rd. Russian Emperor down on the inside. And then Panfield, of course, eventually finishes in last, but not beaten very far.
Not at all. It was an awful race. It was just beautifully rated by Derek Long in front on reliable team. More so on the fact when Kying Star missed the start, and he did end up getting around and getting outside of him. From a form point of view, Paul, with the Japanese here and the Europeans here, they all need to step up from this race. They're going to go a lot quicker. In fact, I haven't got any of them in.
No, I haven't. You just got to forget this race, because look, with Kaying Star, when he did miss the start, they basically walked the race, didn't they? And it was a sprint home, which didn't suit any of those horses.
No, and the sprint was actually faster, their last sectional, than the sprint on that day as well. Lucky Patch ran. They ran fast their last sectional than they did over the 1,200 metres. That probably tells a story in itself. Panfield probably capable of better than that then, and he's trained by Tony Millard.
Tony Millard, Panfield in the Cup coming up on Sunday. You've drawn barrier number 1. Are you happy with where you are?
It just gives you so many options. I'm very happy with the draw.
And on his first up run this season, obviously a huge effort over the mile. Obviously that was certainly very pleasing. Last time out, he's come out of that run well, and you've been happy with his track work and preparations leading up to the big day?
Yeah, his work has been very good. We had a very nice grass workout with him last week, and he came through that well, and we've speeded him up during the week. He sprinted up this morning. I couldn't be more happy.
And just given, obviously, you say you're happy with his work, and he's sprinted up very well. I mean, there was the option to go the 1.5 mile race, but you've opted to go to the 10 furlongs instead.
Yes, I think he is the best horse in Hong Kong over 2,000 plus, and he won. But to take on the European horses over that distance is another story altogether.
What will he do between now and Sunday, Tony? Obviously, all the finishing touches, I'm sure, have been put to him. Will he just have an easier time leading up to the big race on Sunday?
Yeah, we're just freshening him up from now. He's a lovely, quiet type of horse, and he's certainly doing very well.
There you go. Good report then for Panfield, representing Hong Kong in the Cup. As we have a look at some of the international runners, and we'll start off here, Paul, with Ishiguazu. This is in the 10-0 show last time out. Unfortunately, drops out a shot for a little bit down the straight here, but runs 5th.
Yes, it does. And this was a strong race, as you'd expect. Look, he does like to go forward in a lot of his races. He's drawn wide. I know Joe's aboard, but look, he's just going to find it so difficult from barrier 12. I thought of that 2,000 metre start, so I didn't include him.
I put him in because Joe's on board. Actually bumped him up the list a little bit because he was good enough to win 4 in a row. 1 in Group 2, 1 in a Group 3, and then ran 5th behind Euphoria. And if Joe can produce a ride like Sky Darcy did, I know he's got a wider draw than what Sky Darcy did in the Derby. He rides the 2,000 very well. OK, yeah, Joe's a definite plus there. And track work as well, Mark, this week. Yeah, 55.8, splits of 31 and 24.8. This was Thursday, worked over the 800 metres, and Joe rode him. He did get a bit warm in the morning. That was one thing against him, Paul, and it hasn't been an overly hot week in Hong Kong. No, yeah, I did notice that as well. So, look, it'll be... look, the draw just put me off. I mean, obviously, you've got to respect the Japanese horses when they come here, but the draw put me off. All right. I meant to say earlier on to thank Adam Harrigan, who's been helping as a translator with the Japanese connections this week. Also, Dubai Honour for William Haggis is here. Big chance as well on his last start. Nick caught up with him earlier in the week.
He's a gelding now, so he's no residual value. His value is in what he can win. And I very much look forward to taking him around the world. We flew him twice. He flew to France twice. The twice he ran in France this summer, and he doesn't mind the flying, which is a really good thing. And he's travelled well here, so it augurs well for the future. My fear, and I think it's Tom's fear, is the ground. Although he ran on and won at Newmarket on fast ground in July, he's run his best 3 races on soft ground. I've never thought he had to have soft ground, but it may be that he does. So if that's the case, that will bring a place like Australia into place in 2023. So, we will see. It's good. We'd love to come back here, but let's get Sunday out of the way first.
So the ground possibly, Paul, a bit of a concern, but as William said, he has won on the surface before.
So he has been there and done that, and look, his form lines are pretty strong, and he's arrived in good order, as William said. So I put him in on a minor line. Yeah, me too. Group 1 place, so he snuck in the top 4 if he handles the ground. All right, and the same would apply to Max Sweeney as well. I think his best form seems to be on a softer surface as well, but a super run there in the Champion Stakes. Right, to America now, but to see Bolshoi Ballet, Mark. He's coming back in trip from the Breeders' Cup for the 2,400 metres there. He's got a really good record over the 2,000. He's won 3 from 4 at the trip, and his last 2 starts have been over 2,400 metres. I'll let you talk about him, Paul, because I know you're quite keen on him. I think he's snuck under the radar, this horse. He's one of the favourites with the Derby. 2,400 metres isn't his go. 2,000 metres looks as though he was right on the pace there and just sort of faded out late here over the 2,400 metres. Really like him coming back to 2,000.
OK, what about Le Papale, Paul?
Yeah, I think this is one of the main chances as well. Le Papale. This just got swamped late here, finished 6th in this race. A horse that likes to race on the pace, and she'll be right there as well. Another one of these Japanese horses that's very, very tough. So I've included Le Papale.
And she was drawn beautifully at 2 on Sunday, draws barrier number 3. This race was over the 2,200 metres. This was the Group 1 Queen Elizabeth II Stakes. She hasn't run anything past 2,000 metres in her career, and that just cemented that she's a 2,000-metre horse and has a great record at the trip.
Yeah, without question, a very best run. Did come on a softer surface, though. Back to America, and Mark, this is Love's Only You. Also winning. This is Japanese first success at the Breeders' Cup meeting, in actual fact.
One to beat. She's been here before. She travels. She's come here from America, so straight from America to Hong Kong. Too good for my sister Nat here. We saw her in the QE2 beating Glory Vase when Japan ran the first 4. She can get the fairy tale finish here, Paul.
Yeah, she's the toughest to beat. There's no doubt whatsoever, and she's getting a perfect run back on the inside. So, yeah, she's in good form leading into this race.
OK, we're going to have a look at the Japanese runners at track work as well this week, Paul.
Yeah, bright orange here with Le Papale. She wins the award for the most stylish. And look, her work's been good since he's been here, and she's another one that's arrived in perfect order. Love's Only You on the all-weather. Yu Kawada really asked her to do something, and she did. She's going well as well.
Just kept her ticking over this week. That was Wednesday, that gallop over the 1,200. Stayed in the barn Thursday and hasn't done too much the last of Thursday or Friday or Saturday either.
Just on those 2 clips, I think Love's Only looked far superior to Le Papale, but that was just one piece of track work there. Favourite here, Paul, is Love's Only You.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to go with my long shot here with each way player because I think it's overs Bolshoi Ballet. Look, 10 starts, 4 wins, 3 of them over the 2,000 metres. And coming back to the 2,000 looks ideal here on firm ground. That's the other key, needs firm ground. So Bolshoi Ballet at a big price. Love's Only You, obviously the danger will be the fairy tale if she wins. Le Papale and Dubai Honour. 10, 12, 11 and 8.
Just like the QE2 all over again, it's all about Japan, this time for the first 3. 12, 4, 11 with Love's Only You going on top. She's a world traveller now. She's quality. She's in great form. Her work has been fantastic, and she can go out with a win. If Ishiiguasu can get across from the wide gate, comes here with very good credentials as a racehorse. That Group 2 winner 2 starts ago and a 5th behind Euphoria. Not beaten that far. Le Papale will love dropping back to the 2,000 metres, and Dubai Honour, live chance if he copes with the firm track. 12, 4, 11 and 8.
Love's Only You for me, and Mark's right. If Dubai Honour handles the ground, I think he's the big danger there in the Cup. It's a great programme, though. The 4 Group 1s, 6 super races on the undercard. Paul, who do we like? Yeah, look, Master Delight in the first. It looks like going for the Derby. Cofield's in the race as well, so those 2 are Derby bound, but I think Master Delight can get the wood at this early stage. A good runner was an impressive, or a better run from him last time. I think he can go well in race number 2. Chevalier Prince, another one who's should be a decent price, Chevalier Prince, and he's well rated, this horse at the moment. California Spangle, he's going to get his opportunity. He's a horse that's comes in with a lightweight, and he's up against some good horses, but I think he can go on with it. California Spangle, he's only been beaten once. Also Packing Victory, Lucky for You, the last 2 races. Lucky with You comes in fresh, been working well, and Packing Victory as well in the last. He's looked really good since his time here in Hong Kong. All right, there you go. And remember, you can see all of those previews on the website under the audio video section, hkjc.com. Who was the best of those, though, Paul?
Got to go with the Japanese horse, Pixie Night in the sprint. Really young horse, coming through the grades. I think this horse can be a superstar back in Japan, and I think we're getting him at the right time. So race 5, number 2, Pixie Night, the best. Now, we're going to take a chance with Bolshoi Ballet. We've got Ryan Moore aboard. He's 25 to 1 currently. I think he's just gone under the radar a little bit. You can see his record there. 10 starts, 4 wins, with 3 of them being over this 2,000 metres. We'll take the play with him, but with the 2 Japanese horses, Le Papale and also Love's Only You, who will be tough to beat.
We'll be doing some ballet if it wins.
We can do that. If it wins.
Please don't wear tights. Packing Victory in race number 10's up to the 1,400 metres. It's the widest draw he's had since arriving in Hong Kong, but it's all about the step up in trip for him. Zach Purton rides. It's a very good field. It's the last of the day. Sylvestra hard to beat. Toronado Phantom in with a lightweight. Going to make the long shot in race 2, Romantic Trove. Now, obviously, Good Runner is the horse to roll there from barrier number 2. He's drawn wide, but he gets back and he stays at the 1,400 metres. Comes out of the race behind Infinite Power, who's gone on to win since. In the play of the day, race 10, Packing Victory, Sylvestra and Toronado Phantom.
I'll stick to the features here. I'll go in the cup as well. Loves Only You for Kawada. I think she was just brilliant at Del Mar. She was fantastic in the QE2. I think she can win again on her final start. Loves Only You in the cup. And I'm going to go for Excellent Proposal in the Mar. Now, obviously, Golden 60 and Dan on Kingley, the top 2 in the race, but Excellent Proposal, we get a decent price about him. I think some each-way value there. So John Size and Blake Shin in the Mile. And Golden 60, Dan on Kingley and Excellent Proposal add some value to a QP. There you go. Just wait for the clock to tick down to Sunday now, Mark, and we're off and running. Who's the one you're most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the Golden 60 Denon Kingley clash. It looks excellent. It's the biggest test, I think, for Golden 60. With the tempo of the race likely to be slow, he's going to have to maybe overcome it again or be ridden differently. And a reminder too, it's an earlier start there tomorrow. The first race at 12:25.
All right, and for you, Paul?
Yeah, Pixie Knight in the sprint. I like these Japanese sprinters going back to Lord Kanaloa, Dan and Smash, have done so well since they've been here, and I think Pixie Knight can go on in that tradition.
Yeah, it's tough though to beat the Hong Kong sprinters, I think, on their own turf. And Loves Only You, we've seen a few of the Japanese horses go out with the fairy tale finish. She might be able to do it as well.
Absolutely.
All right, we will see. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you at Sha Tin on Sunday for HKIR. We will be racing to win.